You wake up, and before your eyes fully adjust to the morning light, your hand is already reaching for it. That familiar weight, that smooth glass surface. You don't even remember making the decision. Your thumb knows the pattern by heart. Unlock, swipe, scroll. In those first moments of consciousness, before you've even registered who you are or where you are, you're already hunting. Hunting for that first hit. The notification is there, waiting. Someone, somewhere, has acknowledged your existence. A heart, a thumbs up, a comment. For a fleeting second, warmth spreads through your chest. You exist, you matter, but even as you feel it, it's already fading, like trying to hold water in your palms. So you scroll. You hunt for the next one, and the next. And somewhere in the back of your mind, in a place you've learned not to look, a voice whispers, "When did I become this?" You tell yourself you're just checking in, staying connected, keeping informed. But if you were honest, truly, uncomfortably honest, you'd admit that you're not really looking at anything anymore. You're looking through everything, searching for something you can't quite name, something that feels increasingly like trying to satisfy hunger by looking at pictures of food. What we don't talk about, what we've collectively agreed to ignore, is that we've become dopamine farmers, harvesting our own neurochemistry for a yield that grows smaller with each season. We've turned our minds into factories, our attention into currency, and our self-worth into a number that refreshes every second, but never quite refreshes us. The platforms know this. Of course they do. They've hired the brightest minds in behavioral psychology, neuroscience, and human-computer interaction. Not to help us, but to perfect the trap. They call it engagement. But what they mean is addiction. They call it connection. But what they create is dependence. They've taken the most sophisticated organ in the known universe, the human brain, and reduced it to a lever-pressing mechanism, no different from a lab rat desperate for its next pellet. But here's what's darker still. We know it too. We feel it in our bones, in that hollow ache that follows a 2-hour scroll session, in the way our fingers twitch toward our phones, even when we're holding someone we love. We know, and yet we continue. Because knowing and stopping are two different kinds of strength, and the machine was designed to exhaust the second kind. B.F. Skinner, the behavioral psychologist who pioneered operant conditioning, discovered something unsettling about reward systems. Constant rewards, predictably delivered, actually become less motivating over time. But variable ratio reinforcement rewards delivered unpredictably, like a slot machine, creates an almost unbreakable compulsion. The subject never knows when the next reward will come, so they never stop pulling the lever. Your feed is that slot machine. Every scroll is a pull of the lever. Most of the time, nothing. Boring posts, ads, content that barely registers. But sometimes, and you never know when, there it is. The perfect meme that makes you laugh. The news that validates your worldview. The photo that sparks envy or desire or rage. The notification that you matter. This isn't a bug in the system. This is the system. The neurochemistry is elegant in its simplicity. Dopamine isn't actually the pleasure chemical. That's a misconception. Dopamine is the wanting chemical, the seeking chemical. It's what drives you to hunt, to pursue, to check just one more time. The actual satisfaction, when it comes, is brief and mediated by other neurotransmitters. But the dopamine, the wanting, that can go on forever. And so you find yourself in a state of perpetual desire, always seeking the next hit but never quite satisfied when it arrives. It's like being trapped in the moment just before a sneeze, forever building toward a release that never quite comes. Your brain, hijacked by its own reward system, begins to rewire itself. The pathways deepen. The habit becomes automatic. The phone becomes an extension of your nervous system. Watch yourself tomorrow morning. Notice how many times you reach for your phone without thinking. Notice how uncomfortable you feel when you can't immediately find it. Notice the micro-panic when the battery dies, the relief when you finally plug it in. Notice how you can be in a room full of people you love and still feel the gravitational pull of that glowing rectangle. This isn't weakness. This is biology meeting technology at a crossroads we weren't evolved to navigate. Your brain evolved over millions of years to seek social approval, to monitor your status within the tribe, to constantly assess threats and opportunities. These were survival mechanisms when the tribe was 30 people, and social rejection meant death. But now the tribe is everyone, everywhere, all the time. Your nervous system doesn't know how to turn off the alarm. The cost compounds in ways we're only beginning to understand. Attention residue, the cognitive fog that lingers after task switching, accumulates like plaque in your mental arteries. Your ability to focus deeply, to think in long, connected chains, atrophies like an unused muscle. You begin to think in tweets, to experience life in Instagram-worthy moments, to evaluate your experiences not by how they feel, but by how they'll look. Relationships suffer in ways that are hard to quantify but impossible to ignore. You're there but not there, present but not present. Your loved ones compete with a device designed by thousands of engineers to be more compelling than they could ever be. Children learn that they're less interesting than whatever is on the screen. Partners feel the weight of being constantly compared to the highlight reels of 7 billion other people. But perhaps the deepest cost is to something more ineffable, your relationship with your own mind. Solitude, real solitude, becomes terrifying. The moment alone with your thoughts becomes a void to be immediately filled. You lose the ability to be bored, and in losing boredom, you lose the fertile ground where creativity grows. You lose the quiet spaces where you might have heard your own voice, distinct from the chorus of others. The philosopher Byung-Chul Han writes about the tiredness society, a culture so obsessed with productivity and positivity that it exhausts itself into depression. But social media has created something even more insidious, the performance society, where existence itself becomes a kind of labor. You're never off the clock because the clock is your life, and your life is content, and content is currency in an economy that never sleeps. Every moment becomes a potential post. Every experience is filtered through the lens of its shareability. You begin to live your life in third person, observing yourself living rather than actually living. The gap between who you are and who you perform yourself to be becomes a chasm that swallows authenticity whole. And yet, knowing all this, we stay. We stay because the alternative feels like social death. We stay because everyone else is staying. We stay because the machine has made itself indispensable, threading itself through every aspect of modern life until extracting it would feel like surgery without anesthesia. But also, we stay because buried beneath the addiction and the anxiety, there's something real we're searching for. Connection, community, witness to our existence. These aren't pathological desires, they're human ones. The tragedy isn't that we want these things. The tragedy is that we've been convinced that this is the only way to get them, that we've traded the deep wells of genuine connection for the shallow puddles of digital validation. The platforms promise us the world connection, creativity, community, and they deliver a simulacrum so convincing that we forget what the real thing felt like. Like a person dying of thirst drinking salt water, we consume more and more of what makes us thirstier. The likes accumulate, but the loneliness deepens. The followers grow, but the sense of being truly seen shrinks. There's no clean ending to this story, no simple solution to offer. The machine is too big, too embedded, too necessary to simply walk away from. But perhaps awareness itself is a form of resistance. Perhaps in naming what's happening to us, we begin to reclaim some small piece of our agency. Perhaps the answer isn't to quit entirely, but to remember what we're actually hungry for. To recognize that the dopamine hit isn't the thing itself, but a cheap substitute for the thing. That real connection happens in the spaces between the posts, in the moments too ordinary to share, in the silences that social media abhors. Your brain is not broken. It's doing exactly what brains do, adapting to their environment, seeking reward, avoiding pain. But the environment we've created is broken, optimized for extraction rather than nourishment, for engagement rather than fulfillment. Recognizing this isn't weakness, it's the first glimmer of strength. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up and your hand reaches for that familiar weight, pause. Just for a moment, feel the wanting. Name it. Sit with it. Not to judge it or fix it, but to know it. To know that you are not your notifications. You are not your follower count. You are not the sum of your digital interactions. You are the consciousness experiencing the wanting. You are the awareness beneath the addiction. You are still there, beneath the noise, waiting to be heard. The machine feeds on your distraction, but your attention, your real, undivided attention that's still yours to give. And what you choose to feed with that attention is what will grow.